What's up everybody, it's Paul from Boosted Films with another how-to video, and today we're going to look at changing the engine air filter and cabin air filter on this 2008 Kia Spectra. First we're going to start with the cabin air filter, and to do that you're going to open up the passenger side door and then open your glove box. So if there's anything in your glove box, it's probably easier just to take it out, clean it out. If you've watched some of my other videos before, this is a very similar procedure on a lot of cars. So you're just trying to remove your glove box, get it out of the way to access where your cabin air filter is. So this particular car though has these two black pieces that kind of hold it in place on each side. So what we're going to end up doing is popping both of those out. You may want to use a screwdriver to help you with this. A flathead should help. Otherwise, you might be able to do it with just your fingers as well. But as you can see, basically what ends up happening is you just end up pulling these forward. You'll have to lift up the glove box a little bit, of course, so that you're not just holding up on the other piece where what these are intended to do is keep your glove box from falling out of place, of course. So here you can see I pulled out the first one. And these just slide up into place is really what they do. But it's honestly one of the trickiest parts about doing this. So I found two different ways to kind of do it. On the second example on this other side, I kind of just walked this flathead screwdriver around a little bit and it forced it to come forward. And I was able to remove it that way. So have a little patience with these. Know that they should slide forward towards the front of the glove box and pop out. But of course, you got to push them out just a little bit before you start sliding them forward. So that's how those release. And then you see that this drops down. The whole glove box should drop down, then exposing what you can see here, this black cover. There's a cover holding the cabin air filter in place. So to release this cover, you press pretty gently on the left side and then also on the right side. So you kind of squeeze both sides inward a bit. And then this whole cabin air filter should come out. You'll see that it is designated up on that housing. What is unique about this one compared to other ones I've done is actually that there is a housing for it. Usually you actually just pull out the filter itself and then put in a new filter without changing it in this black section here that you can see that holds it in place. But that's okay. It doesn't really make it that much harder. So of course you should take your old air filter out. It's going to be pretty easy to just pull it out. There's a couple spots that hold it in place. So you can see our old cabin air filter here that we're pulling out. And here's our new one. So what you want to do with your new one, of course, is compare it to the old one. Make sure it looks like it's the same size, so it should fit. And then look for this airflow direction on the side. It is important that you have that airflow direction flowing the right way. And the airflow direction typically for all these cars is going to be down. The airflow arrow will typically point down as it brings in the outside air into your blower motor. So we're going to go install it that direction. Of course, noting that, airflow direction is down, but then on this housing, this black case, it gives you the up arrow. It can be a little bit confusing, but as long as you know that most of the time the airflow direction, is going down, it should make sense. And I don't really think you'd be able to install this upside down anyway. So as far as installing it where it says up, you should be able to figure that out. So make sure you have it flush, pushed in all the way. So you can see here it's pretty flush and it looks good. So going to install it is of course pretty easy as well. We're just going to bring it inside the car. Again, you see the up arrow, so you know that's the way it should go. And then you will slide it in place. You want to keep it pretty level, slide it back in. And then for me, it just kind of did one solid click motion, or click sound, I should say. And then it was stuck in place. So I just kind of felt around, made sure I couldn't easily pull it out. It felt like it was in there like it should be. So we were all set. We basically successfully changed our cabin air filter at this point. But we need to put our glove box back in place. So what we're going to do here is lift up our glove box, and then we're going to grab these two black rubber stoppers that, keep this glove box from just falling out all the time when you open it. And reverse of how you took them out. So we're just going to lift it up, of course, so it's past that spot where it holds in place, and then just slide them up towards the dash, away from you, and then they should kind of pop in place. Pretty simple. It's actually a bit easier to install these than it is to remove them. And that's kind of the final step. If you took anything out of your glove box, go ahead and put it back in your glove box, and you have successfully changed your cabin air filter. So now we're going to move on to the engine air filter. And to do this, we're going to open up our driver's side door and then release our hood. There should be a hood latch down kind of by the driver's side knee here. So you pull that to release the latch on your hood. And then there's another safety latch under your hood. So you need to slide your hand underneath and then slide that safety latch to the left towards the passenger side of the car. And that should release your hood where you could then lift it up. So there's a hood prop on the right side. So you raise the hood just a little bit extra high, put that hood prop in place, and then you should be able to set your hood down. And here you can see the engine air box. This is the box that holds the air filter that just filters air that comes into your engine. There are two basic clips here that hold it in place towards the front of the car. So you should be able to just use your thumb to snap those clips off so it releases the top half from the bottom half. And then I'm just showing where these kind of slide in towards the back part. There's two pieces here towards the back that it slides into. One of them's not as visible because of that intake pipe. But really that's just showing what you need to do. You need to lift this up kind of off the lip of the bottom section and then pull it forward towards the front of the car, and it should just slide out of place. You shouldn't really have to disconnect anything else with that air pipe. Of course, you don't want to move it too far where it would potentially harm anything, but there should be enough wiggle room in there where you can just pull that without having to disconnect anything else. And the air filter itself just pops out pretty easy, especially when you can set that top cover up kind of on that fuse panel there. So this air filter isn't the worst yet. I didn't actually have a new one to put in, but I wanted to show you guys how to change both filters in this video. So if you did have a new air filter, of course, you'll want to unwrap it if it was wrapped, and then put your new air filter in place. Again, also check it, compare it to the one you took out. Just make sure it looks about the same. And then again, make sure it sits flush. You don't really want to be fighting any extra battles with this if it wasn't sitting quite right. So just make sure it looks like it's sitting like it should, and then your cover should slide on rather easily. Again, watch for those prongs in the back that poke into those spots. It should slide in. It shouldn't take a lot of force to push that in place. And then, of course, the clips that you released, you'll have to put those clips back in place. And that's it. You lower your prop rod, make sure that snaps down in place. I usually hold the hood a couple inches up from where it latches, and then just drop it down, and your hood should latch, and you should be all set. So that's it, guys. I hope you found this video helpful. And again, this is a 2008 Kia Spectra. If you have a similar car, please let me know if this worked for you. It might help other people watching this to know if it worked for a different model year Kia or a different model year Spectra. So if the same procedure worked well for your car, please leave a comment in the comment section down below. And of course, if I did anything wrong, it's not super easy to update this video, so watch for the video description as well. If there are any updates, will make them there. But otherwise, as always, this is Paul from Boosted Films saying thanks so much for watching.